Hey there, gamers. DreamcastGuy here. Today we're talking about the worst state of play of all time. I have to admit that I'm not even mad or like upset. It's confusion. I mean, sometimes people say this could have been an email. This could have been a tweet. This was the worst presentation I've ever seen from Microsoft, from Sony, from Nintendo. This is the worst ever. To the point at which I'm actually just wondering why they did it. I mean, really, from the bottom of my heart, what was that? Well, let's break down the announcements. I guess I'm going to put that in quotes because they didn't really announce anything. Like 85% of this was just downloadable content. And I'll be honest, a lot of the downloadable content was for games I've never even heard of. I mean, it's being straight up. Let's break it down. Hi, hope you're having a great day. And if you could, please give this video a like and subscribe if you haven't already. Now, before this happened, they said, hey, big state of play coming out. 40 minutes of runtime focusing on games created in Japan and across Asia. So a lot of people had very high expectations. I don't know, saying things like Kingdom Hearts 4, Phantom Blade 0, Final Fantasy VII Remake Part 3, Persona 6. I mean, personally, I thought the easiest bet of all, my two big bets that I was making was I assumed there's a lot of talk that Silent Hill 2 Remake is getting some sort of Born from a Wish DLC. I assumed they'd show that and shadow drop the DLC today. That wasn't there. The other bet I had was I assumed 100% Resident Evil Requiem was going to be there. That's one of the biggest Japanese games on the planet. Resident Evil is a juggernaut. Why was it not here? Why did we not get a shadow dropped demo of Requiem? Instead, we got a lot of very, very, very confusing announcements. Like, I'm just going to scroll through this for a second. Almost every single game, legitimately, I had never heard of. I had never even seen. Some of this stuff, I mean, it's literally like, I don't get it at all. Now, some of this stuff just made me laugh. New PlayStation gaming monitor, hooray. There were actually leaks talking about this. Apparently, PlayStation's doing a bigger effort to get even higher sales in Japan. So already in Japan, the PS5 is cheaper than the rest of the world, but it's completely region locked. You can't hack it. You can't do anything. It is Japanese down to the base of the code. They've now made it even cheaper in Japan. So I guess that's cool, but doing that in an English subtitled state of play, this whole thing truly, truly left me confused. This was, the end of like any state of play. They always do the one more thing. Here's the big announcement. The big announcement was Elden Ring Nightreign DLC. Now, these screenshots of it actually aren't very good. It actually did look halfway decent. I like Elden Ring. Elden Ring is one of my favorite games of all time, but Nightreign, I didn't really love it that much. Something about the randomization of it, just something about doing like a rogue-like Souls game, it just for me didn't really work. But I will admit I put about 50 hours into Nightreign, so as much as I hate it, I definitely played it. So I'll probably play this. It's coming out on December 4th, but it does have new characters and new bosses, but this as your closeout is just such a strange choice. Now, I will say, there were like two games I really, really loved. One of them was a big new look at Fatal Frame 2 Crimson Butterfly Remake. Now, this screenshots are super, super dark here, but it's also a very, very dark game. Fatal Frame 2 is one of the scariest games I've ever played in my life. Fatal Frame 1 and Fatal Frame 2 gave me legit nightmares for months. That's how terrifying they are. And honestly, this one they showed here is a complete overhaul. The original game had a lot of load screens. A lot of times, every time you clicked the door, anytime you tried to go to a new area, it had to load. Obviously, right? It came out on the PlayStation 2. It had to load a lot. Now it is completely open. Walking into areas, it looks like the ghost can chase you now from area to area. There's new styles of you, basically the way you attack the ghosts. You have this ghost capturing camera called the camera obscura. There's new filters. There's new attack animations. Honestly, this looks like a 10 out of 10 remake. I am super, super excited. The fact that it's coming out in March, honestly, pretty dang cool. They also interviewed the developer, and he basically was talking about how much they're really trying to crank up the frights on one of the scariest games ever. I'm going to play this and probably, hopefully, have all new nightmares. Now, the other remake they showed today, I feel bad there's only two games out of this that really blew my mind, but the other one that really blew my mind, I am a very new Dragon Quest fan. The only Dragon Quest games I've ever fully beaten was Dragon Quest 7, 8, and 11. And now recently, I 100% Dragon Quest 1 Remake and 2 Remake. And I'm super curious, Dragon Quest VII is a very unique game. It actually had very little combat in the original version, and they've remade it a couple times now. But this reimagined of it definitely looks more action-focused. It definitely looks like really authentic to the original while being updated. I will say, there's a new chapter where you play an adult Kefir. That's pretty cool. I'm curious. I definitely want to play this. I'm actually currently about to replay it. I just got the original version of Dragon Quest VII they put on the 3DS, so I'm about to play the DS version again. But some of this stuff really confused us. When I was watching this in the chat, the one that definitely confused the chat the most, they spent a solid 10 minutes of this 40-minute presentation talking about Marvel Tokon fighting souls. Now, I played in the first beta. The first beta was extremely fun. They're introducing new characters. The two new characters now are going to be Spider-Man and Ghost Rider. That's great. They spent so many minutes talking about the art direction, talking about why the characters are particular ages. They talked about how important this new stage is. Oh, 3 new iconic arenas, 2 new stages. And the whole chat was like, look, as good as this looks, we all know that freaking Fighting Souls is going to be a huge, huge game when it comes out. Why are you spending so much of the state of play on this? I don't know. It felt like too much and not enough at the same time. I mean, honestly, a real pace killer in a already very poorly paced presentation. Octopath Traveler 0. I feel like nobody in the world's talking about this. I like Octopath Traveler 1. I love Octopath Traveler 2. Octopath Traveler 0 looks very, very good. They're dropping a demo the same way they did with 1 and 2. There's a really big demo. You basically play through the opening couple chapters of the game, and then you can carry that progress over to the main game. I'm curious about this. I'm excited about this, but I'll be honest, the first 2 games were over 100 hours long. And as much as I'm excited for that, I'm not sure I really have time in my schedule right now to play a 100-hour-long RPG. I'm definitely going to buy Octopath Traveler 2. I'm probably going to install the demo just because, it's fun to get a head start on it. But again, like, of all the Square Enix games to show, I really wish they'd showed some sort of teaser for Final Fantasy VII Remake Part 3, Kingdom Hearts 4, something. You took literally the least hyped game and gave it this like big spotlight. And I'm not saying it doesn't deserve it, but it did feel a bit odd. Oh yeah, this one was weird. Blaze Blue is coming back. Blaze Blue Entropy. It's a beat 'em up, a side-scrolling beat 'em up. It looked like that to me looked pretty cool. But the rest of it was just DLC, 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 DLC. And you're not even gonna believe me, I'm cutting out a lot of it. There was so much just downloadable content back to back to back to back. And I just feel like I'm in a weird spot where sometimes I watch a presentation and I think, oh, these are just contractual obligations. They agreed to do a marketing deal. This is like their required trailer. There was so much in this that it felt very, very bad. This was the most boring state of play I've ever seen by a mile. It was just terrible. It had bad pacing. Trailers look bad. I'd say a solid 95% of these games you couldn't even pay me to play. And it's just odd, right? I guess I'm not mad, but I will say I'm extremely disappointed. Before this aired, a lot of people were joking about the fact that this was the first state of play that didn't have any leaks. Typically when there's a state of play running up to it, there's people saying, oh, there's something about to happen. Oh, there's something about to happen. There were 0 leaks about this. And I honestly think the reason there weren't any leaks is that nobody inside of PlayStation even cared to leak it. I don't know, man. These are some off-the-cuff thoughts. I like talking video games, so I'd make this video. But I'll be honest, if I was just a random fan watching this on my phone during a lunch break, I'd probably fall asleep in the break room. How do you guys feel about this? Honestly, part of my disappointment is I feel like the best part of a state of play is it says, hey, here's why you should be excited about your PlayStation. And watching this, yeah, that definitely didn't do it for me. But tell me your thoughts in the comments down below. And if you could, please give this video a like. Subscribe if you haven't already, and please keep dreaming. What a dud.
Thanks so much for watching that video. If you want to see something else, you can always click this link to see what I put up last, or, subscribe and see what's coming up next. Also, I promise that whatever I do, it'll try not to suck.